The pond behind our ranch house had always been my favorite place to relax. After a long week of hauling hay, fixing fence lines, and keeping the cattle fed, there was nothing better than throwing a few steaks on the grill, hearing the sizzle, and watching the sun sink into the water. But apparently, relaxation was a crime in Karen's world. Karen was the HOA president of the subdivision that butted up against the far edge of my land. She had an opinion about everything, from how tall the grass should be cut to how often you could use your smoker. And though the HOA had no legal authority over our ranch, we'd owned it for 3 generations before the subdivision even existed, that didn't stop her from trying. That evening, I just flipped the stakes when the wail of sirens echoed across the pasture. A cruiser rolled up the gravel drive, red and blue lights bouncing off the pond. And who was strutting beside it like she owned the world? Karen. The deputy stepped out, hat low against the evening sun. "Evening, sir. We got a call about unauthorized activity, barbecue too close to community water." "Community water?" I raised an eyebrow. "This pond's on my deed. Been in my family since before Karen here learned how to spell HOA. Karen jabbed a finger toward me. "He's violating environmental codes. Cooking near shared water. He could poison the runoff that feeds our homes." I set the spatula down and pulled a folded envelope from my back pocket. I'd been carrying it for weeks, just waiting for the right moment. "Deputy," I said, handing it over. "9 minutes ago, the county clerk stamped this deed transfer. The HOA doesn't lease, own, or even touch this pond. They've been trespassing for years without realizing it. As of tonight, this entire HOA development sits on land I now legally own." Karen's jaw fell open. "That's impossible." The deputy scanned the paperwork, whistled low, and tipped his hat at me. "Looks airtight. Looks like you're the new landlord." Karen sputtered. You can't just evict us." "Oh, but I can," I said, calm as a summer breeze. "And since you called the cops to harass me while I was grilling on my own pond, I'll be exercising my rights as property owner effective immediately. Consider this your notice." The deputy's radio crackled, but he didn't hide his grin. "Ma'am, looks like you'll want to take this up with the county court if you've got an issue. But as far as the sheriff's office is concerned, you've got no claim here." The fallout was swift. By the next morning, word had spread across the subdivision like wildfire. Their HOA board had built its entire kingdom on leased land my grandfather had quietly retained mineral and water rights to. When I bought out the dormant lease a week earlier, it transferred full control of the pond, the access road, and the greenbelt, everything Karen loved to police. At an emergency meeting, the HOA members turned on her. Some shouted about wasted dues. Others demanded refunds for lake access fees they'd paid for years. By the end of the night, Karen had been stripped of her title and left red-faced, ranting that she'd sue. But the lawsuit never came. The county judge laughed it out of court, especially when Emma, my wife, handed over the original 1923 survey maps proving the Richards family had never surrendered control. Now the pond's mine again, free of trespassers and HOA busybodies. I built a proper grill station and a little deck, where my daughter and I fish in peace. Sometimes, just for fun, I wave at the subdivision across the fence. They keep their heads down now. And Karen? She sold her house within 3 months, moving to a community with standards, as she put it. My new sign at the pond says it all: Private Ranch Pond. Entry by invitation only. Grilling encouraged. Because sometimes justice isn't about fighting fire with fire. Sometimes it's about paperwork, patience, and the sweet taste of steak seared over an open flame, while the HOA packs its bags 9 minutes too late.